When it was reported to Caesar that they were attempting to make their route through our province, he hastens to set out from the city, and by as great marches as he can, proceeds to further Gaul and arrives at Geneva. He orders the whole province to furnish as great a number of soldiers as possible, as there was in all only one legion in further Gaul. He orders the bridge at Geneva to be broken down. When the Helvetii are apprised of his arrival, they send to him as ambassadors the most illustrious men of their state, in which embassy Nemeus and Verocletius held the chief place. To say that it was their intention to march through the province without doing any harm, because they had, according to their own representations, no other route. That they requested they might be allowed to do so with his consent. Caesar, inasmuch as he kept in remembrance that Lucius Cassius, the consul, had been slain, and his army routed and made to pass under the yoke by the Helvetii, did not think that their request ought to be granted. Nor was he of opinion that men of hostile disposition, if an opportunity of marching through the province were given them, would abstain from outrage and mischief. Yet, in order that a period might intervene, until the soldiers whom he had ordered to be furnished should assemble, he replied to the ambassadors that he would take time to deliberate. If they wanted anything, they might return on the day before the Ides of April. Meanwhile, with the legion which he had with him and the soldiers which had assembled from the province, he carries along for 19 Roman miles a wall to the height of 16 feet and a trench from the lake of Geneva, which flows into the river Rhone, to Mount Jura, which separates the territories of the Sequani from those of the Helvetii. When that work was finished, he distributes garrisons and closely fortifies redoubts, in order that he may the more easily intercept them if they should attempt to cross over against his will. When the day which he had appointed with the ambassadors came, and they returned to him, he says that he cannot, consistently with the custom and precedent of the Roman people, grant anyone a passage through the province, and he gives them to understand that, if they should attempt to use violence, he would oppose them. The Helvetii, disappointed in this hope, tried, if they could, to force a passage. Some by means of a bridge of boats and numerous rafts constructed for the purpose, others by the fords of the Rhone, where the depth of the river was least, sometimes by day, but more frequently by night, but being kept at bay by the strength of our works, and by the concourse of the soldiers, and by the missiles, they desisted from this attempt. There was left one way, namely through the Sequani, by which, on account of its narrowness, they could not pass without the consent of the Sequani. As they could not of themselves prevail on them, they send ambassadors to Dumnorix the Aeduan, that through his intercession they might obtain their request from the Sequani. Dumnorix, by his popularity and liberality, had great influence among the Sequani, and was friendly to the Helvetii, because out of that state he had married the daughter of Vercingetorix, and, incited by lust of sovereignty, was anxious for a revolution, and wished to have as many states as possible attached to him by his kindness toward them. He therefore undertakes the affair, and prevails upon the Sequani to allow the Helvetii to march through their territories, and arranges that they should give hostages to each other. The Sequani not to obstruct the Helvetii in their march, the Helvetii to pass without mischief and outrage.